People first.
People first.
People first is a mindset.
You know, we talk about people first.
People first.
People first.
In Time Tec is a people-first organization.
All right.
We're here.
Yes, we are here, and welcome to our People First podcast. And this is the second in line that we are doing. And I'm personally very, very excited to be with my dear sister and friend.
Partners in creation.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Michelle, I'm really excited that we are going to talk a little bit. And the theme is, leading with intention.
Mm-hmm.
And I also see that you and me being here in this conversation also brings a different angle to that on, leading with intention and being women leaders
Yes.
at In Time Tec.
Yes.
So are you excited?
Let's do this.
Okay.
I love this conversation because for those who are going to be listening to this, you and I are coming into this with a very high level idea of what we're here to explore.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's just going to be the conversation is what the conversation is.
Yeah.
So there aren't specific prompts that we're following. It's just talking through what does it even mean to lead with intent? And what is the impact of being female in a male-dominated industry? What does that look like?
Yeah.
All sorts of different things. So let's get started.
Okay.
Leading with intention. I will admit, I heard that, and I immediately started asking myself, what does that even mean? Can you lead without intent?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that you can lead without intent?
Leading is many things, I think, Michelle, in the way how I see it. And all of those I have learned being a part of this platform. And I have to admit, when I came on 15 years ago, I had very little to none understanding what leadership means. I do know the textbook definition, and I did get inspired, looking at Jeet, who was my leader back then in my previous company. But then I had no idea what it means. So the question you're asking is leading without intent possible?
Yeah.
I feel leading itself is a lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And a lifestyle that I personally realized that I need to discover it for myself. So the intent is underlying.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment I got connected to my purpose, it becomes second nature. And it's a discovery in process.
So question. How did you, or would you have, it was a long time ago,
Mm-hmm.
not that we're old by any means,
Sure.
but we're older than what we were.
Yeah.
When you're 15 years old, how did you define leadership? What was that to you at that point in time?
Yeah, so 15 years ago when I really aspired to be a part of this platform.
Or even 15 years old. So 15 years old, 15 years ago. And I ask, here's my curiosity. I'm a believer that how we define leadership changes. Just like the definition of leadership itself,
Mm-hmm.
it would be defined differently by 100 people if you had 100 people in the room.
Mm-hmm.
So leadership is multifaceted. But when I think about what it means to lead with intent, for me, the answer comes from contrasting what leadership used to be for me and what it is now. And I realize also, if I'm 15 years old, I think I know what leadership is, but I'm not really leading anything.
Mm.
And now I'm actually leading something. So there's a different kind of experience and credibility behind what that can be and what intent or not having intent might actually look like in real time. So I'd love to hear for you. 15-year-old Vijaya
Mm-hmm.
thinks of leadership. What does that even mean?
Truth be told,
Yes.
when I was 15-year-old, I think I was just surviving, Michelle.
Okay.
And if I think a little bit deeper, I definitely, maybe I was thinking of leading in some areas because I see that that's the need. Like it's mostly from the family perspective, what is needed and what is not there.
Mm-hmm.
But I was not capable of providing leadership at that point of time. I do know that there's a leadership required, and I didn't know how to give.
Yeah.
Right? And then it was mostly, okay, I need to become capable to do that. So my 15-year-old, if I go back and talk to 15-year-old Vijaya, what I would probably hear is that, okay, I have no idea how to handle this, but then I know it needs to be handled.
There's such a maturity in your answer for me because I have a much more superficial answer. If I go back and I'm 15 years old, leadership for me was being really, really good at stuff. And when I look back, middle school, high school, sports teams, music, you became a leader, quote unquote. You got the role. You got the spot on the team because you were good at the craft, or you were good at making art, or you were good at producing results. And so I would have told you as a 15-year-old me, yes, I'm a leader, but I put all my energy into being really good at things to get that leadership opportunity. And now, fast forward.
Or be better than someone.
Be better than. Beat them at the game. Beat them at the academics. Beat them at whatever it is.
Yeah.
Just come out on top.
Yeah.
Which is so ironic because, again, fast forward 15, 20 years later, that's the very least of
But
what
you can
leadership actually is.
Yeah.
So you're sharing leadership to me. I already knew. I see what needs to be done, what I need to provide, but I'm not capable of doing that. Whereas 15-year-old Michelle was like, just beat everybody and be good at everything. And then you're a leader. Poof, magical. Like that's how it works.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Yeah, that's surviving versus thriving, right? And that's where I
Absolutely.
feel, hindsight is always 20/20. You can only connect the dots looking backwards. And then I'm able to sit here and talk about it that way because I could see what is otherwise. And I can clearly distinguish now that was surviving, going against the grain and trying to do something versus you are in the groove. I feel I'm in the groove right now where I just fit. And
In the scope of leadership.
in the scope of life.
In the scope of life.
Yeah.
Okay.
And leadership is a part of it. And truly, again, this is all I learned from watching and learning and really being is what do I need to do to take care of people. So for me, if I have to define in one line, Michelle, leadership is really taking care of other people. What do I need to put on the table to take care of the other person? That's my definition of leadership.
It's not beating them.
No. it's being at service. It's being whatever required. But for that, I had to learn and unlearn so many things about myself to be at that place. Because there were so many insecurities, so many incapabilities, so many things came up through this journey and still does even today. And for me, identifying, realizing, keeping that aside, it doesn't matter. I don't matter in a very powerful way. Not in a way that, okay, I'm a doormat. I don't matter in a very powerful way for the things that need to get done.
You've got to double click on that for the people who are listening because I can see how that phrase could be really triggering. And you already alluded to that, like not in a disempowering context, but in a very empowering context, realizing that it's not about you and you're not the center of the universe. That you are here to be a part of other people's stories, and further the action for them. And that's when you are fully alive. So when you say, I don't matter, share a little bit more on what that means. So people don't panic or panic, do if it's transformational for you. But
yeah, and I think the easiest and the closest topic for that I can bring on is being a woman in the leadership position. It's a great thing because time and time again, there's always certain imbalance of how many women versus how many men. Now, when I look at that, I don't lead by gender. I lead by who I am.
I love that. Yep.
Now, what do I mean? for sure, being a woman, I have few natural, and you do too, right? Being women, we have few natural qualities that get amplified.
Mm-hmm.
Being empathetic, being compassionate, really bringing in those generosity. And I don't make them the headlines. It's just lead,
Mm-hmm.
and see how you can contribute. And I don't say that, oh, I'm great because I'm women, I'm a great leader, or I don't say, oh, I'm not fit for it because I'm a woman. It's just no conversation about that. And then bring in what is the best in me to onto the table. I personally believe each one of us have our own superpowers. Mine doesn't have to be the same as yours,
Right.
right? And bringing them all together, that's where the magic happens.
Mm-hmm.
That's what is the magic that is happening in Time Tech. It starts from leader like Jeet, who really, really, helps us to identify. And without that, it's not possible. And then really building on top of that.
That makes complete sense.
Yeah.
I want to rewind a little bit and share having intent around leadership, what that has started to mean for me, and then expand a little bit on how being female in this space can show up. And the way you put it, it was so well shared and so well said, in the sense that we just have different attributes that are magnified in different ways, but that it lends itself to the whole.
Yeah.
We don't have to be, things don't have to be fair to be equal.
Yeah.
So I'll rewind just a little bit. Leadership with intent. I talked about my 15-year-old self, how just win. Like leadership is just winning at all the things all the time. Unfortunately, there will always be someone out there that's better than you.
Yeah.
And maybe that's not so unfortunate.
Yeah.
Maybe that is honestly, I can say, a blessing in disguise, because it teaches humility.
Yeah.
And it teaches and magnifies the importance of doing the work.
Yeah.
Being consistent, having discipline. Yeah. So while 15-year-old me would say, just win everything, what I have started to learn and will continue learning for as long as I'm alive is that intent in leadership is intentionally letting go of yourself.
Yeah.
And you
Beautiful.
don't have to. Like,
Yeah.
people don't have to let go of themselves.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make them wrong or less than.
Or they're not weak doing.
That's not.
It's a choice.
It is a choice.
Yeah.
And there came a time where the only way that I could actually show up for other people was to let go of my opinions and my feelings.
Yeah.
And that innate desire I had to just look out for me and to be the best.
Yeah.
And to win and to produce the results.
Yeah.
And initially, you get a taste of that. The first couple times I had that opportunity, honestly, glorious. It was fun. It was exciting. I'm like, oh yeah, I can
do this.
Do this in the name of serving others, because there's this feel-good factor.
Yeah.
Like, I can actually watch it make a difference in your life. And it's just like taking a hit. It's like, whoa, this is amazing.
Yeah.
That wears off really quickly.
Yes.
When the real work begins. And you need to learn as a choice to start laying down those things in a way that is much more personal and intimate. And I'm going to say this, but in some ways kind of traumatic. Because letting go of survival mechanisms that you learned as a kid, that can feel traumatic. It feels like you're being chased by a tiger.
Yeah.
But there's no tiger.
Yeah. It's a lot of shadow work that you need to do to really separate,
shadow work, yeah.
right? And then to separate who you are versus who you think you are.
Yes. And why?
Yeah. And why so?
Why?
Yeah.
So that's when I began experiencing in real time leadership with intent, is when it got hard enough and challenging enough that I had to make that conscious choice in the moment to let go of some of those innate things, some of those survival-based things, so that I could actually show up in a space that was about the other person and about the situation and what it called for versus my perspective, my viewpoint, my feelings, my capabilities.
And do you remember the pivotal incident or the place where that shifted for you? Was there any specific situation that you were in which woke you up?
Do you have one? I'm thinking now. Now I'm going back and thinking of the meetings and the conference rooms and the conversations and home and off. I'm thinking. But do you have anything that stands out where that started switching for you, that context?
I think so. There are so many of those that one moment, if I look back. But then I think if I remember, one of the major thing is when I realized that what I'm capable of to provide to others versus how much I was holding back doing that. There was this specific situation where I got challenged, saying that that's not who you are, and how you're showing up right now is not who you can be. And then for me, I was in an ignorance, saying that I'm doing everything, I'm doing the best, and people should look at me and learn, kind of a poster child image.
Yeah.
And then there was one time when the axe came out, saying that nope, that's what you're thinking.
But that's not the experience
You
around
need to wake up.
Yeah.
And then for me, that was like, wow, I did not even know that's the experience I'm creating for others.
Mm-hmm.
So
someone had to show it for you.
yeah, it was like a mirror saying that, okay, I know you have the intention, but then that's not the reality. And you're so disconnected from the reality of what it can be versus what you are doing. So that was definitely one of the situation. I think it was around probably 7 years ago when I had that epiphany moment, when I stepped back, and it was very hard. It was like for me to face the reality that, oh, I'm doing that. Itself was hard. There was a lot of resistance internally. But then the moment I realized, okay, what is happening is for my good. And I really need to keep aside my feelings and moods and the fight, and then really look at things black and white.
I have those moments. I understand what you're saying. I mean, there's this reality of I'm doing a great job. I'm doing the right thing. I'm saying it in the right way. People want to be me. They want to operate the way I operate.
Yeah.
And maybe you don't say that.
Yeah.
It's not like you're going to open any conversations with that, but that's the internal conversation.
Yeah.
And then you have someone who just checks you.
Yeah.
You get that reality check where they're like, wow,
Yeah.
I actually think you're a real jerk. And you go, wait, what?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're having to look at what is real and what's not real. And do I get to say what's real? As a leader, do you? That's a fair question to ask.
Yeah.
You can only know your intent as a leader.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the experiences that I create for others is the real story.
That's it. So
Yeah.
you've got your intent,
Yeah.
and that's all great.
Yeah.
That's got to be straightened out and sorted out.
Yeah.
But your intent only gets you so far before you really need to ask yourself. I've asked myself, you've asked yourself, and even the people around you who know what you're committed to and know what your intent is. How is this actually landing? What kind of experience am I actually creating around you, around this team, around home?
Yeah.
I think of one of our employees, one of our colleagues.
Mhm.
They have such a great story because in true transformation around leadership, there was an experience where they went home and asked their partner, how do you experience me?
Yeah. Mm.
And they thought they had it made, that was in the bag, everything was amazing. And the information and the sharing that they got in response to that question was, I believe that this person would use this word, devastating.
Mm.
And that's one of those moments in time.
Reality check.
That's that snapshot, that
Yeah.
gut check, that
Yeah.
you're pumping the brakes to go, I
Yeah.
don't know about this.
Yeah.
I need to reevaluate.
Yeah. And I know both you and me, both of us have grown as leaders here. That's how I see.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to believe that I had the material when I came, but I don't want to speak too soon. But I do believe everybody has a capability to become leaders.
I do too.
Everybody has raw material.
Yeah.
And everybody needs to walk through the line of fire.
Mm-hmm.
Because leadership is all about giving up of who you are and embracing what everybody needs from you.
Mm-hmm. So true. It's our podcast. There's no such thing as off topic. So let's play with this for a little bit. I'll just share instead of asking a leading question.
Yes.
I was attracted to leadership initially in the early phases and stages of my life because that meant power.
Control.
And it meant control.
Yes.
And it meant predictability.
Yes.
And it meant that I wasn't going to have someone that I didn't have respect for telling me what to do or how to do it. That was honestly my driving factor to be a leader, be a leader, be a leader. It had nothing to do with creating an impact. It had nothing to do with taking care of other people. In fact, I didn't like that very much in the early parts of my life. I experienced that responsibility as a burden and not a blessing.
Mm.
So talk about like a complete 180 now.
Yeah.
Because that's, for me, one of the worst reasons to become a leader. That's like someone leaving their job to say, I want to be my own boss.
Mm.
Because as an entrepreneur, you are never your own boss. Every single customer and partner that you have from that point forward becomes your boss.
Yeah.
Because you need to sell a product or a service to put food on the table. And maybe initially for your family, but then for your employees and for a company that hopefully by design is meant to grow. So being a leader because you didn't want anyone else to have a say.
Yeah.
When as a leader, everyone has a say.
Yeah.
Was one of those moments for me, not specifically in a conversation, but one of those moments that was really impactful. So in true fashion for you, when you wanted to become a leader, when that thing became really shiny for you, was it altruistic? Was it philanthropic? Was it like, wow, warm and fuzzy, I want to make a difference? Or was there some kind of survival attached to that?
It's a very good question, by the way. So for me, the reason why I wanted to be leader, because that meant success. That meant I made it in life. Again, I didn't know back then. I was blindfolded. I was thinking that like I'm doing good. And then, okay, if I become this, then that means, okay, I've made it in life. For me, leadership became in the process of evolving is really connecting to the purpose of my life. Why am I here on this planet? And it might sound very philosophical, but it is life. And I believe every one of us have a purpose of why we are here. And then everyone is unknowingly on a mission to find that. And for me, that was a switch I had, which really made me who I am today, getting connected to that purpose. And for that, again, I had to unlearn a lot of things that I learned. Because for me, it was very superficial. Leadership means success. Leadership means made it in life. Leadership means not much of a control, but it was mostly, okay, I'm at the table, listen to me. Right? To, again, where I am right now. And it is, again, not just one big bang moment, it's pieces of experiences, of failures, of discovering my incapability, discovering my insecurities, and sharing that. Discovering my inauthenticities and sharing that. As much as it sounds not very real, authenticity is nothing but sharing our inauthenticities. Authentic doesn't mean that, oh, you're like telling the truth all the time, or it's all about, okay, this is where I am, which I shouldn't be this.
Yes.
And I shouldn't be thinking like this, and then this is what I need to do. And then sharing openly and being vulnerable.
Yes. That's
Being vulnerable is one of the biggest leadership trait I have learned.
and that can be scary. Again, going back
is.
to survival, being
Yeah.
vulnerable means you're putting something out on the table that you
Yeah.
may or may not be able to manage.
Yeah.
But that's where being authentic about our inauthenticities, I can honestly say when leadership was something I was curious about, when it was something I wanted for myself, when it's something I began relating to, it was all a power play. I just didn't want to listen to anyone. And I thought, if I'm a leader, I don't have to.
Yeah.
Only to find out leaders listen the most. and
Yeah.
and yet there are two places, spaces where that lesson holds more true
Mhm.
for me.
Mhm.
It's valid everywhere. But I think about where that shift started occurring for me as a growing up leader. The first one is letting people go.
Mm.
When I reflect on the people that I have let go from the company and how much I've grown in that space, I have a lot of sadness. I have a lot of peace. I have a mixed emotion about a lot of these things. But the very first person I let go, absolutely terrified. You don't know what to say. You don't know how to say it. Someone just tells you it needs to be done. And you think, I'm just going to do what needs to be done. Like
I'm not sure whether that's the right thing to do or not.
Yes.
You have your own doubts about it.
You do, which is a whole nother mind game
Yeah.
in the sense of, have I done everything and more?
Yeah.
And am I responsible in any way for this person not being successful?
Yeah.
And if so, what more could I have done? You can just get lost. It's such a black hole of a conversation. But the first couple times that I experienced that, it was just do what needs to be done, do what the team has decided needs to be done, and you move through it really mechanically. But then there was a couple instances where there was some truly poor behavior on the other side. And that person needed to be let go for things that were more glaringly obvious. And in those moments, maybe there was too much confidence because it came from a place of righteousness, of everyone would know that these are not things that you do in a workplace, even as an individual contributor, and it won't work. And of course, we're going to ask you to leave because there's just a lack of workability. No one is going to let that fly. Yeah. So in those scenarios, there was that righteousness. There was an arrogance of, well, of course I'm doing the right thing and you're doing the wrong thing. Therefore, this is the result.
Yeah.
And the evolution continued where I got to a place where there was so much heartbreak in both of those scenarios. I found myself looking at it very differently, where it was, no one's right or wrong here.
Yeah.
But that doesn't change the fact that there's suffering.
Yeah. There's no workability.
There's no workability. And maybe that suffering is on both sides.
Yeah.
And I have the opportunity to do something about that.
Yeah.
Doing something about it, the impact of that is not one-sided. It's not you lose and we win. There came a point where people who moved on, regardless of how they felt about it, I'm not saying everyone felt warm and fuzzy about it. That's a very emotional thing to experience. But at the end of the day, them being here was not workable for who they wanted to be in life and how they wanted to show up and what really worked for them fundamentally. And it's scary to move on and take that leap and start looking for something else. So that was one area where the transformation of leadership with intent and the letting go of yourself and looking at how you're showing up for other people truly really showed through.
Yeah.
Because you can't be in a high intensity conversation like that and
not have the capability and the muscle and the stamina.
And not have the stamina and not have for those things to go somewhat well, as well as they can for what it is.
Yeah.
the other person should always experience that there's a genuineness.
Yes. Yeah. There's an authenticity in the relation. Now, the decision or the result is not very amicable, but at least people would be able to deal with it if I'm showing up authentically in the conversation for them.
Yes. Yes. And we've read the book Radical Candor.
Yeah.
It gets brought up a lot in our culture, within our company. I think back to some of the sharings of that book. And the author gives a really great TED Talk too. But it talks about how in light of not letting someone go who should have been let go and trying to make them feel better, it was very ruinous for their life.
Yeah.
And I relate to that. I have never wanted to let anyone go. I have never said, I'm so
You never want
excited.
to be the bad person.
No one.
No one wants to be that.
My feet don't hit the floor in the morning and I go, great, I get to have this conversation. How lucky am I? And yet it's not about how do I feel about it. I'm looking at what needs to be done for that person, for the company, for the team. And if it's not a win-win, something has to be done. But you can do that thing from a place of love, from a place of authenticity. And doesn't mean that the inner feelings change. I still don't want to do what I'm doing when I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And it's not about discipline. For me, it's about looking deeply enough that I can understand that the default future is not good and will not actually create the experience of love.
Yeah.
So firing, I don't even like saying firing, but letting people go, a lot of leadership and growth there. And it's a great place to point to say, this is how I've experienced it as it's changed.
Yeah.
And then the other one is parenting. Because half the things I do to ensure my kids are responsible and loving and have the discipline to do what needs to be done to live a great life, I don't want to do those things. I don't. If I look at the feel-good factor, I don't want to have those conversations. I would love to have all the fun and do the silly things and stay up late and live in the moment of just a kind of joy and feel good.
Yeah.
But that would be so ruinous to their lives. So as a leader, I go, this is not about me or indulging. What needs to be done and how can I show up for them?
Yeah.
Whether they understand it or not.
Yeah.
But there are still moments. There are still moments where I show up and I do something and I'm like, I don't want to do this right now, but I'm doing it.
Interesting that you gave the example of one of the growth area that you had was when you had to separate ways, right? With somebody who's it's not workable. One of my biggest growth areas is the ability to lead people who don't want to be led.
Oh, yes.
Now, not that they're wrong or right. Somewhere they don't want to be led by me.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right? And then there's so many flavors and mixes that come. And then initially I faulted so much because I used to make it all about me. And I would either say, okay, you tell me how you want me to lead you, and I would do that, which I know clearly
wouldn't work long term.
Or
right?
I would bring out the big hammer and say, look, you need to listen. This is what needs to get done. You better get it done.
Buddy.
Both doesn't work. As a leader, I'm not showing up as a leader. I'm either showing up as a dictator or a people pleaser.
Oh, yes.
And one of my biggest growth areas is that first of all, it's okay when people don't want to be led by me.
It's not personal.
It's
In
not
actuality,
personal.
it's not personal.
Exactly. And there's something that is coming in their way about who I am showing up as, which I need to address.
Yes.
And that's one of the biggest, light bulb moment for me.
Yeah.
Because up until then, it was always, like, for me, it was an uphill battle. It's like, okay, what's wrong? Like, I'm able to lead certain kind of people, but I'm not effective in leading the other kind of people. Again, I'm not putting them in a box. I'm putting myself in a box when I say that as a leader.
Yes.
To coming to a point, okay, let me pragmatically look in what is not working for them. What is that I need to learn? What skills I need to develop? What capabilities I need to develop to effectively lead everyone?
Yes. Preach.
Yeah.
It's so true. It's so relatable.
Yeah.
It's easy to love lovable people. It's easy to lead people who are open.
Yeah.
It's something else entirely to influence, lead,
Yeah.
and have any kind of influence, if you will, impact on someone who doesn't want to come along
Yeah.
or who, for whatever reason, may not like you, even though we know as leaders it's not personal.
Yeah.
I had one person at one point tell me that I reminded them of their dad.
Okay.
But it's so true. And I'm sharing that because in that moment, it wasn't about me.
Yeah.
There was something that happened in the past. There was a way that I conducted myself, the way that I shared, when I shared, what I cared about, what I emphasized,
Yeah.
that hit that trigger for that person.
Yeah.
And took them back to a time in their life when there wasn't a resolve.
Mm.
There wasn't any completion in that
Or
relationship.
there wasn't love.
There wasn't love.
Yeah.
And so even if it wasn't my intent
Yeah.
to inject that, unknowingly I was. And as a leader, my responsibility and my love is to understand that and not to change who I am, but
Yeah.
to be aware of it.
Yeah.
So that I can show up in a way that's going to land.
Yeah.
But I think this is interesting too, because we're talking about, do you change as a leader based on the person you're leading?
So change is the only constant thing in life, if you ask me. So we all change.
And death, right? Is that the saying?
Yeah.
Like, change
and
death.
and I think it really, how do I say this? I have seen my leader doing that with me, because every time things are not hunky-dory, right? I would be lying if I say that the leader I was following, I didn't want to follow in a few times. So it's the same, the
Same.
repeat story.
Yes,
Right?
I've been in that place too, where I'm like, I'm reporting to who? Wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's a story of life.
Uh-huh.
So one thing, what I have learned and still practicing and I'm continuing to learn is that not to leave the table with unresolved conflicts. And if it means even that, okay, I'm going to park this and we're going to come back, but this is something that we need to figure out. It's like family, right? When you have disagreements with siblings, disagreement with parents, you just sit. Ideal thing to do is to sit down
I
and
was
talk.
gonna say, maybe not
I
every
know,
family
I
does
know,
that, but in an ideal world, yes.
Ideal thing is to sit down and talk what's not working. And
Right.
but that's not how all families work, like you said. So we need to find the rhythm. But sitting down and talking about it is non-negotiable. We need to do it at some point of time.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. I'd also say, I mean, you and I, we have the blessing and the privilege of having our president and CEO, Jeet, really be a coach, a mentor, an advocate for us. And he's really been a source of so much transformation in our lives and what we're capable of doing. And when I look at how he's led and how he's coached and how he's mentored other people and me personally, I see his ability, and there's so much depth to this. He has this ability to create the most consistent, predictable experience. His presence and his leadership is so stable.
Yeah.
And you can never pin him down on how he's going to show up in any given moment.
Yeah.
So somehow he has mastered this art of being so present to what needs to happen in the moment and showing up to be a source of that and provide it. There's no surprises. It's like it's so multifaceted that no matter how he shows up, you'll never be surprised.
Yeah.
And in light of always being surprised, you're not surprised.
Yeah. There's one.
And you never feel at risk. You never feel you never feel like you're standing on a shaky foundation.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you've lived what I'm experiencing, and I'm trying to articulate this experience of the foundation is so solid.
Yeah.
Nothing will change it. He often says unshakable as a term to define. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And yet you never know.
Yeah.
What the need of the hour is going to be or what you're going to get or what's required.
Yeah, I think that's what is producing consistent results all the time, all the places. And then I like how you shared that it's unshakable and a very steady ground, and it's a very high bar of leadership, which is the beauty of of our lives every day. There's always something that to get better at,
Yes.
to aim. It's never this is it, because sometimes when if I experience, oh, like, okay, I have done it all, like, I think there's nothing else, there's always something more that I can learn and do. And there's another breakdown that happens, saying, I did not see this coming. Like, okay, where did that come from? Like, what is that unresolved?
It's very dynamic.
Yeah, it's like, there's always a next level. There's like a mountain with no top. And that's what I see.
I have this memory of a conversation I had earlier on this year. It was probably 6 or 7 months ago. And the person that I was talking to, honestly, probably thought I was bipolar. I mean, one day I was one way.
Okay.
And between one conversation on one day and the second follow-up conversation the next day, I needed to completely change my approach. Now, most of the time, someone who's experiencing that is going to go, okay, you're crazy and you're bipolar. And now
That's not what you said yesterday.
And now, exactly. Now I can't trust what you said. And you said this yesterday and this today.
Yeah.
And there's so much here in this conversation, because what I realized is that how I had been leading in that conversation, it wasn't working. It was making the situation worse.
Yeah.
So it's not that I had a total personality change. It was that how we've been approaching this conversation, it's not resolving the conversation.
Yeah.
It's not producing a different result. So this would be nice to continue showing up this way. And I know we've gotten really familiar and comfortable with each other in
But
this
then it's
context.
a deadlock, right? There's no
deadlock.
there's
And
no result.
The future is
Yeah.
grim. It's not looking good. So we have to change something. So I showed up in a very different way, and it was dizzying. And yet sharing, this isn't about you or me or what we're comfortable with. This is about what works. And we have to acknowledge that it's not working.
Yeah.
So here we go. Time to focus and emphasize some other aspect of the conversation that we can influence.
Yeah.
So you just do what you have to do. You grow, you learn. You have to be immensely present. And that's the intent. The intent is moment to moment, having the intent to let go.
Yeah.
And getting to a place where you don't matter personally.
Yeah.
So that you can be fully available for other people.
Yeah.
And through that, I would also say being loving and strong.
Yeah.
Because when people hear you don't matter, I guarantee you people are going to hear that and go, that just means you're weak. Like, you're just going to get railroaded all the time.
Yeah.
And that's not the point. You can be loving and strong.
Yeah, and then I think it is created in the experience, Michelle, if you ask me, right? When you show up as I don't matter, and this is what needs to get done for the greater good, that still shows. I don't have to explicitly say that I'm strong. Right now, for the conversation, for sure, because there is no experience. This is a conversation. But then when I show up like that I'm just surrendering, I don't matter, in a way to enable myself and for others to create something bigger than themselves. Right? There's this, I call it as I see it as a silent strength, which is unspoken, but always felt. Because leadership is not about, like, roaring and, like, again, we talked about control, we talked about power.
Right.
Leadership is also sitting down and listening.
Absolutely.
Sitting down and being there for others, and really being there in a way that matters to them. So it's a front of the hand and the back of the hand, right? When we say that I don't matter in a way because that's what needs to get done here, versus don't take me for a ride.
Don't
you
take
watch
me
out.
for a ride. And we didn't have time to dig into this, but this is where it can get really fun. Because what I have found personally, there are times I do need to be vocal about my strength.
Yes.
Especially, this is the fun part, especially as a female.
Yes.
Because that's commonly misinterpreted
Yeah.
And then you're immediately stereotyped.
Yeah.
If you show up as strong, if
Yeah.
you're not endlessly empathetic, if you're not endlessly compassionate, if you're not endlessly nurturing, there's a conversation around that, whether
There's a
people are
stereotype that-
having it, internally or externally.
Yeah.
So there are times where that is something I share, depending on the conversation and the person
Yes.
or the group, where it's, I'm committed to being loving and strong, and I'm here to listen,
Yeah.
and we will make this decision
Yeah.
one way or the other, and we're all going to make it together, or we're not making it at all.
Yeah.
And I have to speak to it explicitly and overtly, and to take the noise out of the room so we can be productive in the conversation.
I totally get that. And that's one thing.
Yeah.
While I say that I don't relate to how I lead to my gender, at the same time, there are a few things that we as women in leadership need to take care more than our counterparts. And just for the sake of what needs to get taken care, not because, I need to take it because I'm expected to, but then there are extra responsibilities that we carry extra on our shoulders with a lot of love and excitement for sure, not all the times. And that's the expectation. Like sometimes I feel there is, and it is very different in Time Tech, by the way, but I have seen in general outside is that, okay, if there's a women leader, they're supposed to work as if their family don't matter. And then when they go home, they need to take care of family as if their career doesn't matter. And we can see there are two different lives, but both can be done.
Both are possible.
But it cannot be done in a conventional way. You need to figure out it's your way. Between you and me, the way we do things, especially these two, are so different.
Very different.
What works for you, you do. What works for me, I do. But then you need to find that balance, and it doesn't fit into the normal cast.
No, it doesn't. And I know we're just about at time, but it's such an important conversation. I'd love for you and I to both summarize maybe 2 to 3 points when it comes to being female in the workplace. What's the most prevalent conversation in your life?
Yeah.
And what have you done about that?
Yeah. Being a female leader, one of the assumptions people make is that, if she's leading, then there's something getting compromised at family, or something that is not getting done, right? And I'm doing one at an expense of another, which is not there, because I won't get peace. I'm not peaceful if I'm my family. I see this as family, work family, and then the family.
Yeah. If your family is not complete, that's broken. If they don't have what they need, there's no way you can show up. Wholly.
Yeah.
You cannot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And second thing is about I might be capable. I'm capable. I have my own superpowers, like I talked about, and there are places that I'm not capable.
Yeah.
And sharing that openly, and yet not giving up, not letting my incapabilities come in the way of getting what needs to get done in a bigger picture. If I don't know, I'll bring somebody. I don't have to do it all.
Right.
I don't have to know it all for now. And my commitment is that I will learn and get the capabilities eventually. But then I don't have a luxury to wait right now, because the thing that needs to get done needs to get done.
Yes.
So being open, vulnerable, and yet be strong, right? They're not opposite. In fact, they go hand in hand. And then really, you can have it all in your own terms, not defined by others.
Yes.
These are the two things I see.
You can have it.
Yeah.
You can have the things that you want.
Yeah.
Without compromising.
Without compromising.
So I would say a couple things on being female. The first thing, I couldn't agree with you more. You can build a life and live a life that you want.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be an or. And you tend to hear, I listen to podcasts, I read books, there's a lot of influencers that I follow who have a lot of messaging around this. And the reality is the people that are near and dear to me, they live all types of different lives. I'm very close with women who are stay-at-home mothers, and I have a deep respect for what they do, because they make sure that the home is functioning. They're the glue that enables everybody to do the things that are either providing and contributing back to the household, or enabling them to live a dream or to live a life that they want to live. So the importance and the creation behind that is way too often undermined and underestimated. Then I see and know and respect women who are working full time, who are working 60, 70 hours a week, and they're not burdened. They're not exhausted. They're not tired. They love what they do. And then I know people who have chosen not to have kids. So it doesn't matter the choice that you make. It's an acceptance, which generates an insane amount of responsibility and accountability to yourself.
Yeah.
To live the life you want to live and to not find excuses and justifications to not live that life. And certainly not to use other people as that justification for you not to live that life.
Yeah.
And knowing and accepting that people are going to have a lot of opinions about it. It's okay.
Yeah.
Let them have opinions and let them have judgments. But I know I sleep peacefully at night knowing, is my family taken care of? Do they have what they need emotionally, physically, in every way?
Yeah.
And then building that structure, building that community, building the village that's required to do the things that I'm inspired to do so that I'm wholly alive as well as a person.
Yeah.
So that would be one thing. I will also say being female in any male-dominated industry is really finding those male sponsors who genuinely love you.
Mm.
Because no matter how bullish or stubborn I find myself to be at times, I can genuinely look at the path that I've taken was not possible without men, a man, male sponsorship opening the door.
Yeah.
Because I could come in and say, I'm here and I'm committed and I don't know, but I'm going to figure it out and I'm going to learn. But at some point there had to be men at the table, figuratively, who said, I'm here and I'm with and I'm alongside and I'm going to stand for who this person is. And I want to hear what they have to say. So it takes two hands to clap. And no matter how committed a woman might be, we're still in community and connectedness with men. Like we both live on this planet.
Yeah.
And there's a partnership and a team that can be formed.
Yeah.
And in spirit of what's possible when we're together and we're operating towards one common goal. And then I would say the last thing that comes to mind is really accepting that it's not about fairness, it's more about equality. And even in the equality, there are just differences that we have to take into account.
Always.
So equality doesn't mean we have the same hurdles, obstacles, setbacks, opportunities. That's not it. It's that if we look at our situation and how we've grown within the platform of In Time Tec, with Jeet's leadership, he's really created space to say, if you're committed to leadership and making a difference, doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman.
Yeah.
Like there will be a place here.
You're just a human being.
You're a human being.
Yeah.
And yet I can also acknowledge that there are some unique things in your life that you need to manage and deal with.
Yeah.
Whether it's personally or through the family or in any other context. And so I've never had to like paint with a wide brush and pretend those things don't exist.
Yeah.
I can say those do exist and I'm not weak or wrong because of those things. And they can still be a part of the conversation so that we can show up wholly to create something meaningful.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And the last thing I want to add is that in all of this, have zero complaints. Whatever comes my way, I always watch, do I have a complaint about it? Or am I committed to do something about it? And then just do something about it. Zero complaint.
Be in action.
That's it.
Don't be a victim.
Yes.
Be an empowered leader and lead with intent.
That's it.
That's it. It was simple, not easy, but that's it.
Yeah.
Just do that. You're good.
Yeah.
You're good to go.
Awesome.
So good to talk with you about this. It was unstructured and meaningful and profound. And I feel like we could talk for hours on end about these things. We'll see if they invite us back.
Yeah.
But
We'll see.
Either way, I enjoyed every minute exploring with
Same here,
you.
Michelle.
Thanks for the conversation.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
People first.
People first. People first is a mindset.
We talk about people first.
People first.
People first.
In Time Tec is a people first organization.